Right, let's go over junior ISAs today. They are one of the most powerful tools that exist in the UK. So let's go over everything that we need to know about junior ISAs, what I'm doing, the apps I'm using, what I'm invested in, what the potential returns might be, and why you should consider opening one if you have kids. So junior ISAs, first of all, they allow you, at the moment, on current rules, you can put up to £9,000 per year into them. Now, most people aren't going to get anywhere near to that. And in reality, you don't need to be honest with you, because actually you can get some spectacular returns because of the power of compounding, because you're starting so young with them. Let's go over a couple of examples in a minute. We're going to look at how you could potentially get a house deposit for your kids for not very much money. You could potentially help them to get financially independent by the time they're in their mid-30s, for example, and what it can do in terms of a foundation for them beginning to understand about investing. Right, so I'm going to show you who I use. So first of all, I use Hargreaves Lansdown. This is not a review of the best junior ISAs that exist in the UK, but I absolutely believe that it is Hargreaves Lansdown because there are no platform fees for junior ISAs. Now, there are platform fees for an adult ISA. So what they're trying to do, I think, is they want to hook them in young, and then hopefully by the time they're 18, the kid transfers that into an adult ISA. So once you've got an adult ISA with Hargreaves Lansdown, they're going to charge you 0.45%, which is quite a bit. And that will compound in its own right. So I use Hargreaves Lansdown for my junior ISA for that exact reason. Now, I'm not affiliated with them in any way. I've got a link for you. There's nothing, you can't get a kickback by using the link. Just Google them if you want to get started. So I have one each for both of my boys. This is just an example of one of them. So they're both worth about the same because of the contributions we put in and when we started. I've got an 11-year-old and a 14-year-old. So we've got 5,759. So look here in the blue at the top. You can see that I'm 53% up already. So that means that nearly £2,000 of this portfolio is growth, right? That is 53% up. And that's because I started it maybe 3 years ago and I've just been depositing into it. I've never taken anything out. I don't care what's going on in the world. If there's wars, if there's Trump, if there's pandemics, I've just kept on going. Now that is tip number one. If you do anything, do nothing else in investing, choose something and invest into it on a regular basis. You're going to outperform everyone by doing that. And within here, I've just got two funds. I've kept it incredibly straightforward. I've got the Fidelity Index US, right? That basically is the S&P 500. And I've chosen that because as you click on it, you can see that it's £5 per share. In the UK, when you have UK listed businesses, they come up as pence. I don't know why. So £5 per share, which means because on Hargreaves Lansdown, you can only buy full ETFs. You can't buy a fraction of it. You can't buy 10% of it, which means with smaller deposits, you can pick up a few shares. So a lot of S&P 500s, VUSA, for example, that's 80 odd pound. So you wouldn't be able to do that. You'd need to save up to 80 pound in order to buy it. So the S&P 500 Class P accumulation. So accumulation basically means that all of the dividends get reinvested in the background automatically. No admin required whatsoever. Look at that 5-year chart. It's gone pretty much in one direction. Now, one of the worst things, not one of the worst things, one of the bad things about Hargreaves Lansdown is you can't see like a 5-year return on the app. You can't Google it, of course, but it has gone up spectacular. And in my time horizon, my S&P 500 has gone up 51.24%. Believe it or not, the old world that I have has gone up even more. But the old world that I have chosen is the Legal & General International Index Trust. Again, I've chosen that because it's £2.96 per share. So you can pick up a lot of them for not very much money. I deposit £25 per month into this. So you have two options. If you want to do a one-off purchase, it needs to be a minimum of £100. So you need to be putting in £100 as a minimum as a one-off. But if you set up a direct debit, you can do as little as £25. So I've got £25 going into this on a regular basis, on a monthly basis. I've kept it incredibly straightforward and simple. I haven't got a raft of different ETFs in here. This is just the approach that I have. I also haven't got bonds in here, nothing like that. But this, typically, with this sort of portfolio, historically, we've seen around 10% increases per year. So that far beats inflation. It far beats any cash savings that you get. But the cost of that, the cost of entry for that is it's volatile. So looking at it over a 5-year period, the old world, for example, yeah, it's going in one direction, but it is up and down. Right, there are lows. See the red there in April and the red nearly a year ago? This is the price of entry. You need to be able to stomach that in order to keep going. What I want to do is show you an example using my friend, the compound interest calculator. So if you were fortunate enough to be in a position where you could find £3,500 by the time you had a baby, right? As soon as they're born, you put £3,500 into a junior ISA. That historically could return, has returned 10%. If it was to continue to do so, we'll use that as an example. You can play with the numbers if you want. You can go lower, you can go higher. Now, you've put that in when they're a baby. So by the time they retire, you haven't added a single other penny. 68 years is current state pension age. they will end up with a pot of £3 million. That's from a £3,800 deposit. £3.05 million. It is absolutely mental. So it's one of the things that a lot of people have talked about potentially that the government could look to do. Top up an ISA as soon as the child is born, leave it, don't need to add anything more to it, just leave it, and by the time they retire they're going to have 3 million quid. They're going to be a multi-millionaire. Now inflation isn't considered, so we need to be careful of that, as I've mentioned, but the initial balance is £3,500 and the interest earned is £3.051 million. Absolutely insane. Let's look at a different example. So when your child is born, you get child benefit, £80 per month. You can do that. If you can use that cash and you don't need it, if you're in a fortunate enough position that you don't need it and you can put it away into the likes of a portfolio like this, do it for 18 years because that's how often you can do it, and continue to put £80 in every month. You're going to end up by the time they're 18 with a pot of 48,525. So that's a deposit on a house in its own right. Now, however, if you were to get that, what is it, 48,500? So 48,500 and then leave that and then not add another penny to that for 50 years, you are going to end up with 7.05 million. I mean, it's just absolutely staggering, these sort of numbers. Now, the scenario I'm in, I've got, I think it was 5,700. We'll use that as an example. I'm going to use my youngest. So he's 11. So he's got 7 more years worth of deposits, and I've only got £25 per month going in. But what I also do is any cash that he wants to invest, so any birthday cash, we talk about this all the time, I'll come on to that in a minute. Any birthday cash that he wants to invest or anything he gets from Christmas, I will double it. So if he gives me 50 quid, I'll put 100 quid in. So typically it works out on average at about £50 per month. So his 5,700 then by the time he's 18 is going to be 17,492. So that is a fair few quid, right? But it's not really enough for financial independence. It's not really enough for him to put a deposit on a house in this day and age. But what I'm trying to train him to do is use that cash to continue investing. So now let's paint another scenario. My 11-year-old is 18. He's got 17.5 grand. So he's got £17,000. I am going to try and get him to put £100 per month into that. So if he can find £100 per month from his day job, or if I need to help him out a little bit, I'm also going to assume that he's going to be increasing his deposit on a yearly basis just by 2%. So as he gets a better job, or he finds a bit more cash, or gets the bug like a lot of people do, and he's going to continue to increase deposits by 2%, and then he's going to do it for 20 years. So he's going to do it from 18 until he's 38. By the time he's 38, he's going to have £211,000. So along the journey, he could have used some of that money for a house deposit, or he could have needed to dip into it. But if he was really serious about financial independence, he's 38, he's got £211,000. He's got his highest earning potential at this time. I'm going to say that he's going to be putting in £1,000 per month because he really understands what's going on now. And he wants to do that for another 10 years. That's going to get him to 48, which is only 6 years older than me. He's going to end up with £791,000. Now that's £750,000. He could, if he was more aggressive, I've been somewhat conservative here, he could potentially be retiring before he's 50. Now, one of the challenges we have with this is it's a dangerous situation to be giving your kids £17,500 by the time they're 18. So legally, that cash is theirs by the time that they are 18 years old. They have a legal right to that cash to do whatever they want with it. So in certain circumstances, obviously, 18-year-olds with 17 grand is a dangerous situation to be. What I'm trying to do, and you do you, of course, what I'm trying to do is really educate them on this stuff and the potential of how life-changing it could be. I don't want them to be working until they're 70. I want them to be able to do what they want to do. I want them to have a level of financial independence. We literally sit at the dinner table and pull up these portfolios, probably on a bi-weekly basis. Every couple of weeks we pull it up, we have a look, we see what the markets are doing, we talk about how being consistent is important, we talk about how ignoring the noise and just keeping going, and they're really interested in it, actively interested in it. Now, hormones are probably going to kick in a little bit, and the 20s might be difficult, but we can just do the best that we can do. And what I'm trying to do is set them up financially to be in the best place they possibly can. If you're anything like me, I didn't have really much money when I was growing up and wasn't in a position where any of this sort of stuff was understood or talked about. So I'm just trying to change that, trying to change the dial. potentially, really change my kids' financial future. Now, who knows what's going to happen in the future, and 50 years, 60 years is a very long time. But if you are interested in this sort of stuff, this is something that you can take seriously, and you can actually, we're talking about 7 million quid here. The numbers are just ridiculous. So look, tell me what you think of this. Tell me if you're going to, if you've got one already, or if you're going to sign up with one of this sort of stuff. And it's the first time on your channel, and we always finish on a joke. I've got this pad I got at Christmas. It's a dad joke of the day. I've got a couple for you today because you're in luck, because I'm a day behind. How did the hackers escape from the police? They ransomware. The man who invented autocorrect passed away recently. His funfair is on sundial at moon. Oh, that one's not very good. Right, thanks for watching. I really appreciate it. Any questions, let me know.